It was an ordinary morning at the small airport in Roseville. The sun was just rising, and travelers moved slowly through the halls, dragging suitcases and sipping coffee. Nothing seemed unusual until she arrived. A tall, young black woman stepped into the airport. Her name was Dr. Maya Carter. She wore a simple black dress, no flashy jewelry, no loud makeup, just confidence. She walked with quiet grace, her head high, eyes focused. In one hand, she held a small travel bag. In the other, a black briefcase. Her shoes made soft clicks against the floor as she headed straight toward the first-class check-in line. Some people in the line turned to look at her. One older man whispered to his wife, "She must be lost." Another woman raised an eyebrow. "She doesn't look like first class." Maya said nothing. She didn't react. She handed her ticket to the flight assistant, who looked at it, then back at her. The assistant hesitated but nodded. "Right this way, Mom." Maya smiled politely and walked through. Once at the gate, she waited quietly. When boarding was announced, she moved with the first-class group. A few passengers looked confused. One young man even stared openly. As Maya stepped onto the plane and reached the entrance to the first-class cabin, a man in a pilot's uniform stepped in front of her. It was Captain Reynolds, the lead pilot for the flight. He frowned. "Excuse me, miss," he said, blocking the door with his arm. "I think you're in the wrong section." Maya calmly pulled out her boarding pass. "I'm in 1A," she said with a gentle voice. The pilot glanced at the ticket, then back at her. "This must be fake," he said with a short laugh. The few first-class passengers already seated were watching. Some whispered. A woman pulled out her phone. "I suggest you return to economy," the pilot added. "Let's not make a scene." Maya didn't move. She looked straight into his eyes and repeated, "This is my seat. 1A." The pilot's face turned red. Then, without warning, he slapped her. The sound echoed in the narrow cabin. Everyone froze. The flight attendants gasped. A man nearby stood up in shock. A little girl hiding behind her mother peeked out, her eyes wide. Maya's head had turned slightly from the force of the hit, but she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply turned her head back, straightened her posture, and stared at the pilot. Her eyes were calm, cold, focused. Then she said, slowly and clearly, "You've just made a very big mistake." The silence on the plane was deep. Everyone was waiting. For her to shout, for her to fight back, for her to break down. But she didn't. She calmly stepped around the shocked pilot and took her seat in 1A. She opened her briefcase, took out a small book, and began to read. The passengers didn't know what to do. Some took out their phones and started recording. Others just stared. The pilot stood frozen for a few moments, unsure of what had just happened or what he had done. A flight attendant rushed over. "Captain, maybe you should." "I'll handle this," he muttered, walking back toward the cockpit, his hands shaking. As the plane continued to board, the mood was tense. The other passengers in first class looked at Maya nervously, but she paid them no attention. She read calmly, legs crossed, her face still. One woman whispered to her husband, "Who is she?" "I don't know," he said. But that was not normal. She didn't react like a regular person. She didn't react like any person would, another man added. It's like she expected it. Back in the cockpit, the pilot tried to steady his breath. He picked up his radio, trying to act normal. But a voice in his head repeated what she had said. "You've just made a very big mistake." He suddenly felt something he didn't expect. Fear. Meanwhile, Maya sat quietly, her face calm but her mind sharp. She wasn't angry. She wasn't sad. She was focused. She slowly reached into her briefcase and took out a small black device, no larger than a pen. She pressed a button. A soft green light blinked. And somewhere, far from the airport, someone received the signal. It had begun. That night, the video of Maya being slapped had already crossed 1 million views. People were sharing it everywhere, on social media, on news channels, and in private messages. But while the world was just beginning to learn her name, Maya was sitting quietly in her apartment. Her phone kept ringing. Journalists, activists, even lawyers. Everyone wanted a comment, a reaction, or a full interview. But Maya didn't answer. She sat alone in her living room, a cup of tea in her hand, watching the flames dance in her fireplace. Her eyes were calm, her mind far away. She knew this moment would come. She just didn't know when. Now, the time had come to look back, to remember where it all started. Flashback. Maya was only 7 when her life changed. She had been living with her parents in a small city. Her father was a lawyer. Her mother worked as a language professor. Their home was always full of books, music, and laughter. Then one night, both her parents disappeared. No one explained anything to her. Police reports were filed, but no real answers were given. People whispered, saying her parents might have been involved in something dangerous. But Maya remembered something strange from that night, a man in a black suit knocking on the door just before it all happened. After that, Maya was sent to live with her grandmother in a quiet village. She stopped talking for weeks. She didn't smile. She didn't play. But her mind was awake, sharper than ever. She read every book in her grandmother's house. She listened to the news, watched political debates, learned 5 languages by the time she was 12. She never forgot her parents. She never stopped searching for clues. And then, at 14, a letter arrived. It had no return address, only her name and a symbol on the envelope, a circle with 3 stars inside it. Inside the letter was a short message. "We've been watching you. You are ready. Pack your things. A car will arrive in the morning." Her grandmother nodded when Maya showed her. "You were born for something greater," she said. The next day, Maya was taken to a secret academy in the mountains. There she met others like her, young, brilliant minds from around the world. They studied everything: law, history, psychology, strategy, even survival training. But there was one rule: never speak of the academy to anyone. Maya excelled in everything. By 19, she had already advised governments. By 22, she had disappeared from public life. People thought she had gone to live a quiet life. But in reality, Maya had begun building something powerful, something secret, back to present. Maya stood up from her chair and walked to a hidden wall panel. She pressed her finger on a small sensor. The wall clicked open, revealing a private room, full of documents, maps, and computer screens. At the center, a file named Operation Reset. She opened the file. Inside were names, connections, crimes, and secret documents, all tied to people in power, including the airline that let the pilot go free. She wasn't going after just one man. She was going after the entire system. Elsewhere, in a secure government building, 2 senior intelligence officers were watching the viral video. One of them looked nervous. "Do you recognize her?" he asked. The other nodded slowly. "Yes, that's Maya Carter. I thought she vanished years ago." "She did," the older man said. "But if she's back, someone is about to lose everything." They both looked at the screen again. Maya's calm face stared back at them. Later that night, Maya received a message on her secure line. "Ready when you are. Just say the word." She typed only one reply. Phase 1 begins at sunrise. The sun had not yet risen. The city was still quiet. Streetlights glowed softly in the misty air. Inside her apartment, Maya stood by the window, dressed in black. Her phone was in her hand, and her eyes were sharp. She pressed send. Phase 1. Begin. No emotion showed on her face, but behind her calm eyes, a storm was moving. She had waited years for this moment. Across the country, people began receiving encrypted messages. Laptops turned on by themselves. Screens flickered with the same symbol, a circle with 3 stars. The network was alive. In London, a man in a wheelchair smiled as his computer lit up. He had once been the world's best hacker, until a tech company ruined his life. Maya had found him years ago. Now he was her cyber commander. In Nigeria, a woman wearing a white lab coat paused in her hospital shift. Her phone buzzed. She looked at the message and nodded. She had once been denied a promotion because of her skin color. Now she was Maya's science operative. In South Korea, a young journalist opened her secret folder. She had files the world had never seen. Hidden crimes of powerful people. She whispered, "It's time," and hit upload. All around the world, Maya's team moved like shadows. They were quiet, smart, invisible, and they were ready. Back in the US, the airline that allowed the pilot to return to work after slapping Maya faced a shock. Their website crashed. Their private emails were leaked, emails showing racist jokes, unfair promotions, and corruption. News reporters ran the story. Airline caught in scandal after viral slap incident. People protested in front of airports. Hashtags filled the internet. Politicians scrambled to react. But Maya didn't stop there. This was bigger than one company. Inside a secure building, a man named Victor Lang, the CEO of that airline, shouted at his staff, "Who is doing this? Stop it now." But every screen in his office turned black. Then one symbol appeared, asterisk, and a voice played through the speakers. Calm, strong. "This is Maya Carter. You don't know me, but you know what you've done. This is just the beginning." Victor's face turned white. "She's bluffing," he said. But his phone rang. It was the governor. "What did you do?" the governor yelled. "My emails are on the news. Fix this." Victor's hands shook. I don't know how." Meanwhile, Maya was already moving to the next step. She walked into a tall building in Washington, D.C. Nobody stopped her. She entered the elevator, pressed the top floor. Guards at the front desk looked confused but didn't dare question her. It was like she had a secret badge they couldn't see. And in a way she did. Maya had files, proof, of crimes committed by top officials. She had names, photos, videos, everything. She stepped into the office of a powerful senator. He looked up, shocked. "How did you get in here?" Maya calmly placed a file on his desk. The top page showed his face and details of a hidden bank account. "I'm not here for money," Maya said. "I'm here for truth." He stared at the papers, then at her. "What do you want?" he asked. She leaned forward. "I want justice. For me. For my people. For everyone you tried to silence." He opened his mouth to speak, but Maya was already walking away. That evening, Maya stood on a rooftop, looking down at the city. Lights flickered. Sirens echoed. The world was waking up. Her phone buzzed again. It was her team. Phase 1 complete. We're ready for Phase 2. Maya closed her eyes for a moment. She remembered her parents. She remembered the slap. She remembered the silence of that cabin, and the way everyone stared at her like she didn't belong. She would never be silent again. The news channels were on fire. Everywhere people talked about Maya Carter. Some called her a hero. Some called her dangerous. But everyone agreed on one thing. She wasn't just a victim. She was powerful. Still, most people didn't know why she was doing this. What made her so calm after the slap? Why was she targeting big names? Now, it was time to answer that. Maya sat in a quiet room, facing a large screen. On the screen was her most trusted teammate, Z, the hacker. "I found something," Z said. "It's about the pilot." Maya leaned forward. Z continued. "The pilot who slapped you, he wasn't just angry. He was scared. He knew who you were, or at least, he thought he did." Z pulled up a document on the screen. It was a classified file, marked with red letters. Top secret. Eyes only. Project Orion. Maya's eyes narrowed. She had heard those words before. When she was 19 and first entered the secret academy, she had seen a locked door labeled Orion. No one talked about it. It was forbidden. Now the file was open. Z explained. Project Orion was a government program. Hidden. Silent. It used children from powerful families to build a group of elite agents, people trained to control media, politics, and public thought. Maya felt a chill. And you, Z said, were supposed to be part of it. Flashback. When Maya was still a child at the academy, a man came to visit her one night. Tall. Cold eyes. He wore the same black suit she had seen the night her parents disappeared. He told her, "You are special, Maya, but you must forget your past. Serve the mission. Be loyal." Maya had asked about her parents. The man said nothing and left. That night, Maya made a promise to herself. She would play their game, but she would never become their pawn. She trained harder, smiled when they watched, nodded when they spoke. But in secret, she built her own plan. Back to the present. Z said, that pilot used to be a military officer. He was once part of Project Orion too. When he saw you, he panicked. He knew you weren't just another passenger. Maya whispered, "He thought I came to expose him." Z nodded. Exactly. That slap. It wasn't about color alone. It was about fear. The pilot feared the truth. He feared that Maya, once just a child in the shadows, had returned. And he was right. That evening, Maya called a private meeting. Her team joined from around the world, their faces on the screen. Project Orion, she said. They took children. They erased families. My parents tried to stop them, and they were silenced. Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned with fire. It's time we bring it all into the light. Z asked, "What's the plan?" Maya held up a flash drive. This contains everything. Names, locations, videos. We release it tomorrow. But they'll fight back, said the journalist from Seoul. These people control everything. Not anymore, Maya said. The world is awake now. We don't need to fight alone. That night, Maya recorded a video. She sat in front of a simple camera. No makeup, no fancy background. Just her. She spoke softly. My name is Maya Carter. I was trained by a secret group. My parents were taken because they refused to join. I stayed silent for years. But when that pilot slapped me, the world finally looked at me. And now, I'm speaking back. She uploaded the video with the title, "The Truth Behind the Slap." My name is Maya Carter. It exploded online. People cried. People raged. People stood up. But in a tall glass building, a group of powerful men watched the video. One of them slammed his fist on the table. She knows too much. Another man said, we should have ended her years ago. The first one looked at the screen. Then let's end her now. The sky was gray. The wind was cold. But inside Maya Carter's apartment, everything was calm. Too calm. She stood near her window, watching the city breathe. Below, cars moved like tiny ants. People walked without knowing the war that had just started. Her video had gone viral. Millions had seen it. News reporters replayed her words. Activists raised banners with her face. The truth was out. But so was her name. And now, they were coming. In a hidden room, far away, powerful men gathered around a long table. Thick suits, cold eyes, no smiles. One of them placed a photo of Maya on the table. She just burned our house down, he said. Another nodded. We built the world's silence. She made it scream. A third man looked straight ahead. Find her. Remove her. Quietly. Maya's phone buzzed. It was Z. They've activated Shadow Protocol. Maya closed her eyes. She knew what that meant. The most dangerous agents, the ghosts trained to erase people, were now hunting her. Z continued. One of them is already in your city. His name is Cross. No picture, No trace. Just one rule. He never fails. That night, Maya changed her location. She left her apartment and slipped into the streets, wearing a hoodie and dark jeans. She walked through crowded places, blended in, vanished into the noise of the world. She met her science operative, Dr. Adeshua, in an underground clinic. "You were right," Adeshua said. "Your parents, they were trying to expose Project Orion. That's why they were killed." She handed Maya a USB drive. "This has proof, voice recordings, documents, even security footage, from the night your parents disappeared." Maya held the drive tightly. Her hands shook for the first time. "Thank you," she whispered. But just as she turned to leave, a sharp sound echoed through the alley. Gunshot. The wall behind Maya cracked. Adeshua shouted, "Run." Maya took off through the back door. Boots hit the pavement behind her. She didn't look back. She jumped over crates, slid under fences. Her breath was fast. Her mind was calm. Years of training came back. She ducked into a sewer tunnel and disappeared into the dark. Meanwhile, Cross stood in the alley, holding a silenced gun. He picked up a tiny device Maya had dropped. He smiled. "She's good," he said, "but not good enough." Inside a safe house later that night, Maya met with Z through video. "They're close," she said. "They almost got me." Z looked worried. "We need to move now. Release everything. All the files." But Maya shook her head. "Not yet," she said. "We need something more, something final. If we go too soon, they'll bury it." Z asked, "What are you waiting for?" Maya whispered, "I'm waiting for the last file. The one my father hid." Flashback. Maya was 10. Her father took her to a lake near their house. He gave her a necklace, a tiny silver key on a chain. One day, he said, "You'll need this. Use it only when the truth must rise." Maya had kept it hidden all these years. Now it was time. She traveled back to her childhood town, disguised and quiet. At night, she walked to the old library where her father once worked. She used the key to open a small drawer under his desk. Inside was a dusty laptop, wrapped in a scarf. She turned it on. The screen blinked, and then the words appeared. "Welcome back, Maya. The truth is ready." But while Maya read the files, danger moved fast. Cross had tracked her to the town. He walked into the library after she left, saw the dust disturbed, followed her footprints in the wet grass. She didn't know he was only minutes behind her. Back in the safe house, Maya uploaded the last files into a secure cloud. Videos of meetings, recordings of the pilot, and even a file with the faces of people involved in child experiments. It was horrifying, but it was real, and it was ready. Maya looked at the upload bar, 90%, 91%. Just then, the power cut out. The room went black. Silence. Then, footsteps. Slow, careful, heavy boots. Maya backed away, holding her phone like a weapon. A voice came from the shadows. "You're brave," Cross said. "But brave doesn't stop a bullet." Maya smiled in the dark. "I'm not here to stop bullets," she said. "I'm here to fire the last one." Suddenly, her backup generator clicked on. The screen lit up. Upload complete. Cross raised his gun. But before he could pull the trigger, a glass bottle crashed through the window. Gas exploded everywhere. Maya's team had arrived. She ran, jumped into a car, disappeared once again. Now the truth was out. All of it. The people who ruled from the shadows had been dragged into the light. And Maya Carter had become more than just a symbol. She had become a revolution. Maya Carter stood on the rooftop of a tall building, watching the city lights shine below. Her face was calm, but her heart was racing. The world had changed overnight. The files were out. Every secret, every crime, every hidden truth, now open for all to see. News anchors couldn't stop talking. Project Orion exposed. Child experiments linked to government. Dr. Maya Carter, the woman who brought down the shadows. Millions of people watched her video. Some cried, some raged, some called her a hero. Others wanted revenge. But one thing was clear. The silence was broken. In the White House, the president held an emergency meeting. "We can't deny it anymore," an advisor said. "The proof is everywhere." The president looked tired. "How many are involved?" "Too many," the advisor replied. "If we start arresting, half of Congress might fall." The president sighed, then let it fall. Meanwhile, Maya walked through the streets with a scarf covering her face. She was no longer hiding. She was moving. Her phone rang. It was Z. "You did it," Z said. "The people are standing up." Protests in over 40 countries. Schools, hospitals, and media centers demanding change. Maya smiled. "That's good." But Z added, "They still want you dead." "I know," Maya said softly. "Let them try." A group of people gathered outside a courthouse. Some held signs, "Justice for Maya," "End the experiments," "Truth wins." Others, in dark suits, watched from nearby rooftops. Snipers, trained agents. They were still trying to silence her. That night, Maya called for a press conference. She appeared in front of a huge crowd. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Maya stepped up to the microphone and said, "I did not come to destroy. I came to reveal. But the ones who destroyed lives for years, now they are scared of the light." People clapped. Some cheered. But Maya raised her hand. "This is not just about me. This is about every child who was taken, every parent who was silenced, every voice that was crushed under power." She held up a small photo, her parents. "They tried to warn the world. No one listened. So I became their voice." The next morning, something unexpected happened. The pilot who slapped her turned himself in. His name was Captain Ross. He appeared on live TV with tears in his eyes. "I was part of it," he confessed. "I followed orders. I looked away. But when I saw Maya, I remembered what guilt felt like. I'm sorry." His words shocked the nation. Others began to speak up too. Scientists, agents, even politicians. The walls of silence began to crumble. But not everyone was happy. In a secret location, the last leaders of Project Orion met for one final time. "She's destroyed everything," one man growled. Another said, "She won't stop unless we stop her." A vote was taken. Kill Maya Carter. Late that night, Maya was walking near the river, alone. She heard footsteps. Then, a shadow moved. A gun clicked. But before the man could pull the trigger, a voice shouted, "Drop it." Police lights flashed. Armed officers surrounded the assassin. He dropped his weapon and fell to the ground. Maya didn't flinch. She just looked at him and said, "The world is watching now." The next day, Maya was invited to speak at the United Nations. She stood on a large stage in front of world leaders. "I don't ask for power," she said. "I ask for protection, for children, for truth, for freedom." The crowd stood and clapped. Some wiped tears from their eyes. She ended her speech with one line, "When truth rises, no wall can hide the lies anymore." Years later, a museum was built in her name, the Maya Carter Truth Center. Children visited to learn about bravery, about speaking up, about never staying silent when wrong is done. And in one quiet room, a letter sat behind class. It was from her father. "My brave Maya, if you're reading this, then you've done what I could not. You made the world listen. And I am proud of you."